what's up? Today we're going to be watching Abandoned House. And it is going to be a story. Yeah, story. So it is 4.15 minutes long. So here we go. Yep, and
when I was in high school, there was an abandoned house behind my house. Whenever I passed by there, I would hear the sound of electricity crackling from the house.
That's scary.
Although my parents said that nobody had lived there for decades, the sound of electricity kept coming regularly. I was worried that there might be a risk of a fire if the electricity was somehow connected. So, one day, I decided to go into the house with my friend Tim.
That sounds scary.
After we finished school, we went to that house, but hesitated to go in for a while.
Hey guys,
I asked Tim if he was scared, but he replied, "This is not fear, but rather a trembling of excitement." The old door creaked open with a spine-chilling sound, and we entered inside. Inside the house, there were scattered dog feeds everywhere, and a strong odor that pierced the nose. And oddly enough, the floor was covered with numerous tacks, so we tried our best not to step on them while we walked in. At that moment, we heard a strange, screaming-like noise coming from upstairs. We should have left the house at that moment. However, we couldn't resist our curiosity and slowly walked up the stairs. From one room on the second floor, we heard the sound of electricity crackling. Then we heard a man's voice from that room saying, "Don't eat it. Eat it." We were shocked and cautiously approached the room. When we looked inside, Tim screamed in horror. As we entered, we saw 3 people sitting on the floor with dog collars around their necks, and one man was training them with a stun gun. All of them stared at us in silence for a moment, and then they started screaming for help like crazy. The man who was training them panicked and started hitting them, telling them to shut up, but they screamed so loud that it seemed like their throats would burst. Curses involuntarily slipped from my mouth as I looked into their tear-filled eyes. At that moment, the man hitting them grabbed the stun gun and charged at us, and Tim and I ran for our lives. However, Tim was caught, and his screams echoed through the hallway, along with the sound of the stun gun.
Scary.
I ran out of the house and called the police, then went back inside. I walked to the room without making any noise, and the man was putting the dog collar on Tim's neck. I ran towards him in anger and kicked him with all my might. He rolled over and fell. He dropped the electric shocker, and I picked it up and threatened him while kicking him crazily. After a while, the police arrived and arrested him. When the police tried to untie the people tied up with dog collars, they were shocked. Their hands and feet were glued to the floor with instant adhesive. I realized that Tim's hands and feet were also stuck to the floor with adhesive. I locked eyes with sobbing Tim, and my legs turned to jelly. Eventually, the rescue team arrived and managed to rescue the people who were tied up. However, they had been beaten and fed only dog food for weeks, and their condition was serious. When the police asked the man why he did such a thing, he simply said he wanted to keep the humans as pets. He was eventually sent to prison. Fortunately, Tim was able to recover from his injuries with treatment, but the trauma stayed with him. We never brought up that story again after that day. This story has now come to an end, but I want to warn you all, if you ever feel like exploring an abandoned house, never, ever go there. No one can guarantee your safety.
That was crazy.
More like cray cray.
Cray, 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 cray. Well, guys, hit a like and hit that like button and subscribe button, and we'll see you in the next video.
I tripped on a piece of wood.
And if you want us Beyblades to make more, like us God Bays to make more scary reaction videos, Comment down below. Well, blah blah blah.
Beep, beep.